ride and let's talk about trading. I'm on my way to work. I bought this new camera stand that's supposed to like do all the things, called Cool something, but it in actuality don't stick to nothing. And so I'm gonna have to send it back because you're not about to play in my face. But anyways, so I realized I haven't posted much of nothing about trading lately. And the reason is because coming into this year, first I'll recap last year. So last year I put thousands of dollars in my account to just get it started. And then I won thousands of dollars. And then towards the end of the year, I lost almost my whole account. And I had just decided like this year was gonna be definitely more quality when it came to trading, and that I wasn't gonna be hi y'all. I did try to tape this phone down, but apparently the tape ain't holding either. I had decided that this year that I was gonna have a plan that I was gonna actually stick to, because the issue at hand was that I was not sticking to my plan. And I was taking a lot of like super risky trades, and I realized like that's why I was making so much money. And it was because I was more willing to gamble on these trades that couldn't, give me repeatable moves, right? And I just hate that it's not sitting right. Well, anyways, it wasn't giving me repeatable moves, and so I said this year I was going to stick to my plan. And thus far for this year, I have been doing great as far as my plan goes. However, I'm not getting the amount of money that I used to get off these trades from last year. And so it's been a little bit tough for me coming into January and February, because I just wasn't like, I'm not taking those trades like that. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not gambling. It don't want me to be great, y'all. I'm gonna have to hold it. It doesn't want me to be great. I'm not forcing anything. That's 100% for sure. But my focus this year was on like getting the proper knowledge, because without the proper knowledge, guys, like you're just gonna keep being in that. Okay, let's just cross 3 lanes. Why not? Having that proper knowledge so that you can have, all right, sorry about that. My phone fell again. I don't know if this one is gonna work either, because we're literally holding on by a piece of tape that has been stuck to something and taken off about 1,000 times already. But anyways, yeah, so let's talk about the profits, because I know that I'm not back on track anymore. It took me a cool little minute to get this camera set back up. Anyways, so like before, in trades before, I would take these super long risky moves, going into some serious drawdowns for it to come back up, stressing myself out, ending up still being in trades when I'm at work. And I was trading SPX a lot. I can assure you that I have not traded SPX in a solid, 2 months. I know I haven't traded SPX at all this year, period. Not gonna do it. I mean, I might later on, but as of right now, in the stage I'm in right now, absolutely not. And I would get a lot of money off of SPX. And so now, like today, for instance, I made $20 in the market. And Like, these smaller amounts have been really, really humbling for me, because I'm used to taking, one contract on SPX. It could be $100 contract, and the same move that I'm getting, on a regular, stock, I'll be making some serious money on, if I took it on SPX. However, the drawdown, if it pulls back, baby, it's snatching souls with it. And I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want the stress. I want to be able to have repeatable moves. And so, it takes a lot of time with that. And I would definitely say, from last year to even where I'm at right now, the amount that I have learned from last year to now, I can't even explain to you the amount of knowledge I've gained. And that was just by saying, you know what, I can sit out some trades. I see it moving. I see it doing what I would normally jump in and do. And just telling myself, I can sit out of this one, because what I need is something that's sustainable. When you think about what your goal is in trading, you really need to make sure that you are, hold on real quick. I got to turn my volume off before something, oh shit, can't be touched. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse either, but I don't like touching my phone when I'm in the car. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see me still. Okay, where was I at? I need repeatable moves, right? And something that I learned, and I have been making it a big focus, because before I would take these trades and they would be so risky and I would end up in some serious drawdown, is because it was things that I didn't understand, and it was levels of reclaiming, and then it would be also not understanding how to read the actual candle. Like, I thought I knew how to read a candle, but then I realized, no, you don't know how to read a candle, because if you knew how to read a candle, 90% of the trades I got in last year, I would not have gotten in them, because I would have known that it wasn't giving me the quality setup that I needed. Example today. What's today? The 19th, February 19th. Market opened up super, super slow today. And Palantir seemed to have moved today, right? PLTR had moved today. However, I did not get into PLTR today because there was no consistency in the structures of the candles. They were going up. However, the candles were weak. The volume was low. And being on Zoom, several times people mentioned Palantir. And I was thinking in my head, like, you need to know how to read those candles to know that you shouldn't be in that trade. Because yes, it did hit, a level. Like, my level got hit twice, but I don't like how it got to that level. And I don't like how it got to the second level. And you also have to ask yourself, am I going to be able to sit through that? And I know for me, I'm not sitting through that. I'll wait until I go into profit, and I'll end up closing the trade and only have made, $5 or $6, because I'm not about to sit through all of that. Like, I had to sit through it, drawing down and then coming back up. I don't want to sit through that. So even though the candles look like they were in your favor for the last 3, 4, 5 candles, if you don't understand how the candles was moving, you don't understand that the market is really slow. You're not watching like SPY to help you, navigate that. Because I was watching side by side PLTR and SPY, and then I had Microsoft, which I took 2 scalps on today, on the left. And Microsoft dipped right at open. I was looking for Microsoft for a call, and so I had to wait on Microsoft. So I just watched other charts, but then I still compared them to SPY. Now, I would say almost every chart you can compare to SPY, but I've noticed like sometimes Apple doesn't always go in the same direction as SPY. So you'll have like some stocks that just doesn't move exactly like SPY. And there was another one today. I think it might have been Netflix that wasn't moving with them either, but even my alerts on Netflix went off. Netflix actually would have been a good scalp for me today, but I didn't even take Netflix because I was focused on a higher quality trade. Now, I ended up taking Microsoft, and I took it off the break, and when I got in, it moved a little bit. then it started stalling, and then it started to come back. And so it bounced back up. It only bounced back up to the point to where it initially stopped at. And so I closed my contract. I was up $5 on the contract. And so I closed it there because I said, no, it's stalling. That means that there's no more buyers. The sellers are about to win this battle right here. So surely enough, as soon as I got out, it fell back down. And not only did it fall back down, it fell down below my entry. And so when it fell down below entry, I just said, well, you know, I was going to play the retest. And I said, well, I'll just wait because I don't know what it's about to do. Because if it go down and it keeps going down, then it's going to reclaim. And so, like, eventually it came back up on that very next candle. But, you know, like I said, the market was low. It took its time. So as soon as it hit my level again, I got back in on the break of my level, which, you know, not everybody will do that. Some people needed to go, you know, past the candle that it had got past the first time. However, SPY was pushing up really good at that point. QQQ was pushing up at that point as well. Palantir was pushing up. Not that I compare Palantir, but just to say that all of the stocks were still pushing up. And actually, SPY had hit its level for me. And so when SPY hit its level for me, it just gave me the confirmation that, you know, I could stay in the trade because, like I said, I got in off the break again, and so it started to stall again. Now, mind you, the other stocks are still going up, but this one was stalling. As soon as it stalled, I cut it. I was done. I was out, and I got $15 off of that. It pushed up a teeny bit more because, like I said, SPY was still pushing. It pushed up a little bit more to where my paper trade went up to like $33. And I closed out of my paper trade, and then, or I just went off the screen of my paper trade because it wasn't reversing yet. So I wanted to see where it was going to go. And so when I went back in to see where the paper trade was, because at this point I stopped watching it. I'm in my journal now because when I journal, it helps me to not FOMO into another trade. So I started writing in my journal, and then I went back to see where the trade went on my paper, and it was already down to $16. So I was like, I left at the right spot. You know, I'm cool with not making that extra, you know, $15, $18. I'm okay with that. And so computer was closed and went on with my day, because you have to be able to teach yourself good, you know, good principles in trading. Like, you don't want to just be out there to trade just because you want to trade. And when you're so concerned about making the money, that's what's going to make you, you know, not do what's right for you and do what's right for your account. Last year, I was just like, I wanted to quit my job so bad. And I was seeing these big, you know, gains, you know, and then just like even getting to the point where I was, you know, making more than, you know, when you're making more than what you make in a day at your job, it's like, I don't want to be here, you know. I'm making this in the market. But it is a humbling experience when you see all that up and then you down to nothing, right? And so right now, I'm just going to just focus solely on making sure that my plan is my plan and that I'm sticking to it. Now, I have monies that I want to add, right? But I'm not at that place right now. I'm not at the point where I can say I trust my plan enough. No, I'm not at the point. I trust my plan 100%. I don't trust me enough. And so until I trust me enough, I can't add more money, because adding more money only shows me that I got room to get more contracts like I was doing before. So when I first started, I was taking 3, 4, 5, 10 contracts at a time. Not a good idea, you know, and I would let a lot of my contracts draw down to zero, and also not a good thing. And so when I put this money in again, because the goal is to be able to quit my job, I don't want to be gambling with the money that I'm using to fund my account so that I'll have to continue to keep working to keep funding my account because I'm gambling. because I'm not sticking to my plan. I'm not going to do that. My end goal is financial freedom. My end goal is to be able to wake up, get on the charts, be off in an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3. Most of my trades are taken by 9:30. I'm not going to lie. But if it's not, I have that ability, to set my alerts, come back to it when it hits my level, and then go on about my day. I'm not gambling this year. My idea would be to be able to quit my job this year, all my jobs this year, and then have, a good quality of life. And so anyways, guys, I just pulled up at work. So I guess I'll leave it here. But I just wanted to pop on here about that because I know I haven't done a video or even posted any of my paper trades because I haven't even really been doing the paper trades, honestly. I did the paper trade today because I said I want to know if me jumping out because it stalled was a good idea or not. And then for today, it just proved to have been, a good idea. Doesn't necessarily mean that every time it's going to be a good idea. However, I can always get back in, and I think about it that way. If I'm far away from, my next level or whatever, it just depends. Reading the market, it takes skill, it takes time. You have to learn, you have to listen to your teachers and stuff like that because they're more knowledgeable, they're more skilled than you, right? But anyways, yeah, I'll be back with more content. This right here, epic fail, cool paw. You know what? I'm gonna give it a good try. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna read the directions, and we're gonna start from the beginning and see what era the user did, right? We'll start back over and see if I can get this figured out, right? If not, Amazon, you about to see me. Anywho, I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.